Hi, everybody. It's Monday, February 17th, 2025. I'm Gloria Moraga, political woman. Wanted to give everybody an update on the federal budget. Federal budget's a mess. It is really a mess right now. The budget deadline is March 14th. That means we are less than a month away from our deadline. Now, this is the 2024-2025 budget. It's not even next year's budget. It's this year's budget. We should have had this done at the end of September, October 1st, but Mike Johnson keeps doing these temporary spending bills. And so the latest deadline is in less than a month. Now, Republicans have released their rough draft $3 trillion. It's a $3 trillion budget outline. It's an outline because it's just their plan. They still need to work this out with the Senate, and they need to figure out what the House and the Senate are going to do when they get together for reconciliation, which is to get together and work out all of the ins and outs. Now, everyone knows Donald Trump, on and on and on and on, promised his tax cut to extend the 2017 tax cuts that he passed for the wealthiest people in the world. The last time he passed these tax cuts, our budget deficit skyrocketed, and the rich billionaires did not, as usually happens, pass on their savings to consumers. So, for example, we'll take just one example, the Amazon billionaire, instead of helping us out with lower prices on Amazon, he bought a really big super yacht. And they did a big story on it, and he and his wife, who used to be an anchor woman, I think she was here in California, she was on the yacht in her bikini, and they were showing off the yacht and kind of thumbing their nose at prices for average people, and that was really what started us on the inflation skyrocketing. Now, so there are those tax cuts for the billionaires, and it does mainly help the billionaires. They expire at the end of this year. So included in that, besides all of that, is in order to do this, Republicans are proposing an increase in the debt ceiling. They want to increase the debt ceiling by $4 trillion. $4 trillion. And their blueprint, just this plan, would add more than $3 trillion over a decade to the deficit. Now, I put these numbers up on the screen so that you can really just let them sink in a little bit. And, I'll read them again. $3 trillion budget outline. $3 trillion added to the deficit over 10 years. And raise the debt ceiling by $4 trillion. And I've already thrown in some stuff about inflation and all of that. Now, the outline does call for $300 billion in spending on defense and immigration enforcement, which I talked about in the last podcast or the last longer video. They want that money sooner rather than later for defense and immigration. So how are we going to do this? How is this possible? It's not possible unless they cut someplace. So what they're doing is they're looking at cuts in Medicaid. Not Medicare, but Medicaid. They're saying, because this is something they've been repeating all weekend, that the Medicaid program is filled with fraud and abuse. And they say this, so that they could make the cuts. Is there fraud? Probably. Do we need to address it? Yes, we need to address it and fix it. But that's done not by firing people, which is what they're doing, but by figuring out, putting investigators on it and figuring it out, which they haven't done. Now, Medicaid provides health care for the poorest Americans in this country. About 70 million Americans are on Medicaid, and it is a federal state program. So the feds give states some money. Some states more than others, need more of that money. And that's how it works. Under the Affordable Care Act, Obamacare, same thing. A little bit more money went to some states to help those states with the Affordable Care Act. But it does help poor, disabled, and other people that have a difficult time getting health care and don't have health care plans through their jobs. Yikes. So what the House has done is ask the Energy and Commerce Committee, which has jurisdiction over Medicaid, to find ways to cut the program. And this is what they want. They want to find $880 billion to take out of Medicaid over the next 10 years. So there's going to be pain. There's going to be pain for the poorest people so that Bezos can buy another big yacht. And that is it. That's what it comes up to. And recently when they shut down the website, remember they were going to shut down these programs? People called and there was an uproar and they opened it back up. I'm just saying that if you have a loved one or others that are on this program, you need to speak up, because now's the time, because nobody's going to help us unless we speak up, because help's not coming at all. And there's all kinds of ways they're looking at doing this, but we need to watch them. Okay, enough of the numbers, because, people, I don't know. I don't like talking about numbers really that much, even though I like covering the budget. There are two problems when I talk about this mess happening right now. The House has proposed this plan, and it's what Trump and Johnson call one big beautiful bill that includes the spending plan, but also the tax cuts. So one big gigantic bill that's I'm reading that it's going to be over 1,000 pages once the Senate comes in and they do the reconciliation and they figure out what's going to be in this thing. So that's the House. But the Senate didn't want to wait for the House to finish their plan. So they've come up with their own plan. And here's the thing. The Senate doesn't want to do the big tax cut portion of the budget. They want to hold off on that because, as I said in the last big video or the podcast, the border czar needs some money right now. And so the senators have said, they came to us, they asked us for this money. We need to move fast. We need to get this done right now, get the budget passed, the spending part of the budget, and then we'll deal with the tax cuts in the next phase. So that's the problem. That's kind of the political mess. They've got to reconcile the Senate and the House. Senate's already have these plans. House already has these plans. There's mismanagement going on here. And that's where we stand right now, less than a month before the budget deadline. I'm Gloria Moraga, political woman. I just want to fill you in on what's going on. This is really important. There are programs in there that probably all of us in some parts of our life touch our lives. I know I don't want, just as a human being, the poor and the elderly, and I'm talking about Meals on Wheels program, and there's some other programs, to be cut for poor children and elderly people, because so that The man who owns Amazon can buy a bigger yacht. It's almost criminal, and it's not when they, wear their crosses and talk about Christianity. This is not the way it's supposed to work. It's not the way human beings are supposed to treat other human beings. Okay, I could just go off on this, and I won't. I wanted to give you the skinny on the budget. That's it. It's kind of a mess. There's mismanagement going on. I have said it before, and I say it again. Mike Johnson's a horrible speaker. He can't manage properly. That's why we're in this mess of just temporary. And, the Senate is reacting. Lindsey Graham is the budget manager on the Senate side, and he's the one that the border czar and the Project 2025 budget dude, they talked to Graham. And so he's the one with his hair on fire saying, we've got to get this money to the border czar now. And I mean, I don't know how you all feel about all of this. I just, whatever. They've mismanaged their money too, and their budget. And this is our money. This is our money. And they're not doing their due diligence. They're not managing it properly. Meantime, we've got somebody just slashing and burning programs and hurting Americans. Big article today. I want to do a longer story on it, on how our national parks are just going to be devastated. They fired all the rangers, all the national park rangers. And some states, like California, we're calling on the governor to do something about hiring the rangers or rehiring them in some way, through the state. But, the summer is going to be hard. I mean, I don't know if anybody's going to be able to travel, but I know people in the state of California go to Yosemite and our national parks. So, yeah, it's a mess. And we just need to watch it. And I will be watching it. And I'm going to post every day. And I'll post every day, if just a short, on what's going on in the budget. Gloria Moraga, Political Woman. Please subscribe. Please follow me here and on TikTok. I need your support. And please take care. Be safe.